Hello everyone, this is Damla Aktekin with a drop of Om. This is day 3 of Crystal Healing Myths. Thank you for joining me, whether you're listening live or joining later. I just want to start by saying and reminding everyone that I have a beautiful and fun quiz at adropofom.com, adropofom.com, which is all about you finding your crystal healing personality and recognizing whether you're a beginner, you're in the middle, or at like a full-on crystal enthusiast stage. And I have recommendations to deepen your crystal healing practice no matter where you are in your crystal healing meditation journey. So thank you for joining me today. I have been talking about crystal healing. I talked about my crystal healing story. And yesterday I talked about 2 myths related to crystal healing, which were, we talked about whether crystal healing can cure everything, and the short answer was no. And then we also talked about if crystal healing can solve and magically disappear all your problems. The answer is no, but it can definitely help you go into the deeper root causes of your issue. You can also work with crystals intentionally to figure out how you can unfold the vibrational situation that you're in and tune out of the radio station. That's the wound, that's the problem, that's the issue, and direct your attention and gaze and vibrational being towards the solution, the openness, and the expandedness. Crystal healing can definitely help you do that. So if you're interested in finding out more about what crystal healing is and the first 3 crystal healing myths that I already shared, please go back to my Instagram account. You can find the first 2 videos, part 1, part 2, and this is part 3. So welcome everybody. So I want to start by saying today is going to be more about the practical side of crystal healing. I'm going to debunk 3 myths and in hopes of getting you jump started in your crystal healing journey. So the first one is that the myth is you need lots of crystals. In my experience, you don't. In fact, you only need 1 crystal to get started. Just 1. And here's why. Because this is vibrational healing, and because the way I teach crystal healing meditation is based not on getting particular crystals about particular issues, but on connection, creating that connection and partnering with crystals and co-creating with crystals. That means that you actually want to spend as much time as you can with each crystal at a time, because that's how you get to know each other. And also because when you're first starting out, it can be overwhelming to think, oh, which crystal am I going to get for which chakra? Where am I going to put it? And I'm telling you that you don't need to worry about any of those. In fact, you might already own a crystal like the one I'm wearing. Most of us have a crystal pendant, a crystal necklace or a bracelet or earrings. You probably already have some sort of natural mineral in your jewelry box. So you can go ahead and grab that and get started that way. Now, that said, there are certain protocols to follow when you first acquire crystal that I go into more detail in my online course, Crystal Healing Simplify. I teach people about how to clear their crystals, how to set intention, and how to create clear boundaries, or how to invoke protection for you and your crystals, which is very important, which is not the scope of these videos, but I want to say to you that that's available in my online course if you are interested in finding out more. And you can certainly go to my website and see what else is covered in the course. But let's come back to you need lots of crystals. By all means, no. Do I have Lots of crystals, yes. But this is my life's journey, and I'm really interested in them, and I really enjoy them. And I didn't acquire them overnight. It was a gradual process of finding them and sort of building my relationship with them over time. So I would say, instead of reaching out for like five new crystals, I would say get one or two and then really get to know them, really see how they make you feel and whether they provide you relief or not. Remember the four-part formula: you, the crystal, the intention, and time get together to create crystal healing magic. So it's up to you to discover what a particular crystal is here to teach you at this particular time. On the other hand, if you're a crystal healing enthusiast and you already have like a million crystals, I would recommend you to choose a select few, maybe five, maybe seven, to work with like for a week or for 2 weeks, and to discover how they interact with each other and how they work with you better, and how you can better get to know them and more deeply connect with them. So more doesn't necessarily mean the merrier. I would say in this instance with crystal healing, I would definitely start with less. You only need one crystal to get started, and my guess is that you already own it in your jewelry box. So let's get started. And the other myth related to crystals is that you need a large crystal. That was remember I was showing you one of the very first crystals that I got. This is one of them. It's a rose quartz. I thought I needed to go big. And I did. And I do really enjoy my big pointy crystals. But in my experience later on, I found that you don't necessarily have to go big. In fact, about an inch is probably a good size. Anything smaller than that, like I have a volcanic one here, which is pretty rare, which is why I have a small size of it. But it's kind of it becomes easy to lose them if you go like smaller than about an inch or so. So if it's a particular crystal that you're interested in partnering with, yes, you can go. And if it's too expensive, you can go with small. But ideally, you want to be able to handle them easily and, be able to have them on you and not forget and just find them in your vacuum cleaner later on, which didn't happen to me, but it could. So you don't. And by the way, I would say definitely handle your crystals with care and don't leave them around. They're choking hazards for your kids and for your pets, so please be mindful of that. The other reason you don't necessarily need a large crystal is that because the essence of the crystal is contained, even if it's a small specimen, the essence being the geometric structure, as well as the vibrational essence, is already here. And you as a vibrational being have the capability to connect with it no matter how small. In fact, I'm going to say something else that's probably something you haven't heard before, which is you actually don't even need crystals to experience crystal healing. Because you are a crystal, because each crystal has a vibrational field and can communicate with each other, you through your intention can connect with any crystal that you have ever worked with before, or any crystal that you haven't worked with through that one crystal that you have worked with. So all of this I actually explain in much further detail in my online course, Crystal Healing Simplified. And I actually have a meditation there, which is all about activating your crystal body, the crystals that you are, and also connecting with the crystal vibrations in the universe. For now, I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I just want you to keep this like somewhere as a little blob. Because we're quantum multidimensional beings, we have so much more capabilities that we realize. and I want you to stay open to what else might be possible than just putting crystals on or around your body. So just keep that in mind. You don't need to know anything about it other than me mentioning to you, because I feel it's important. You actually don't necessarily need physical crystals to be experiencing a crystal healing meditation. All right, the next myth, and then by the way, Kristen had a really beautiful question yesterday that I'm going to come back to after this third myth today. The next myth is that crystals are expensive. I'm going to say to that, yes, some of them can be an investment, but usually they are in the, you could find a crystal for 50 cents. You could find, there are crystal sets with like 5 or 6 different crystals in them, like tumbled good size crystals that are about $10 to $15. Because initially you only need one, I'm pretty sure that you can spare $1 or $2 to get a crystal. So I don't feel that they are that expensive, to be honest, unless you want to have a collection like mine. Yes, they can get a little expensive down the line, but for beginning to work with crystals or to start to deepen your relationship with your already existing crystals, you actually don't need anything at all. The other piece of this is that this is a journey. This is you discovering what brings joy to you. For me, working with crystals, just holding them in my hands, their texture, the coldness, and imagining what might be inside them, and partnering with them to discover what they're bringing to me, what I'm bringing to them. That's exciting. That's joyful. So I'm drawn to them. And I know for those of you who are drawn to them, they're very pleasurable things to collect. It's so much fun to collect them. So I'm going to encourage you to follow that curiosity, that joy, that awe in finding what crystals are best for you. And again, in my online course, I'm actually giving you a huge list of where you can get crystals, but I actually am sharing some of my recommendations. If you go to my website at dropofom.com and go to the blog, on the right hand side I have a picture which says crystal healing recommendations and resources, and you can click on that and you can get like I said, like 5-6 different crystal sets. I'm also recommending some ways to buy crystals in bulk if you are interested in gifting them, for instance. So go ahead and check my recommendations there. Which brings me to the question that was asked yesterday by Kristen. She had a very important and beautiful question. She asked, how can we make sure that the crystals we buy are ethically sourced and sustainably harvested? That's a wonderful question. And my recommendation with that is you can always look for smaller miners, meaning people who go out there into nature and they literally buy they have the tools to mine crystals from the ground, and they know how to find them, and then they're able to share those with people. And you can certainly search for those. There are some wonderful providers on Etsy, which is a great resource for ethically sourced crystals. But then you can always, if you have a crystal store, for instance, you can always ask, how did you get this crystal? What's the story of this? And you might be surprised. I once was doing a road trip through New Hampshire. I live in New Hampshire in the US, and we stopped at this little town called Littleton, New Hampshire, and lo and behold, I found the crystal store. Of course, I had to go in, and I found out that the owner of the store, he was there, was actually the one harvesting a lot of the stones and crystals they had there. In fact, I got this one from him, which is a Herkimer diamond. If you're not sure, if you haven't heard of them before, Herkimer diamonds come from a specific region in New York. So he had personally been there and he had harvested this particular and I was so happy to hear the story and get the crystal through him. So you can certainly go through that route. But you can also, if you know of an online store or of a local crystal store, like I said, or anywhere you find, sometimes clothing stores have crystals, you can always ask, like, where did you get this from? Was this sustainably harvested? Meaning you didn't get more than what you needed from the earth, or was this ethically sourced? Was everyone paid a reasonable wage while harvesting these crystals? And keep asking those questions so we bring these issues in the forefront and to the attention of the people who actually work on bringing the crystals to you. So I'm gonna leave you with that actually. And the other piece of this is in my online course, I'm also giving people some resources on how they can go out and harvest their crystals, or find places where it's you could either pay a small fee, or there are some places where you can go and harvest crystals without paying a fee. But I also list some protocols there, which is the one simple thing to remember and recognize is that you always want to ask permission. You always want to ask an energetic permission. And it's the same thing when you're buying a crystal from somewhere. You kind of want to know that they're mindful of these things. Which brings me to the next protocol, which is clearing your crystals and keeping personal and energetic hygiene, personal and crystal energetic hygiene throughout this process, before, during, and after your healings, which I go in much more detail in my crystal healing course. But for you, I just want you to keep that in mind, that again, this is not about you acquiring a physical thing and adding it to your collection. It's more about you are making a live vibrational connection, and you want to keep that as pure and energetically clean as possible through your intention and through asking the right questions to the suppliers and so on. So let's summarize. We talked about, do you need lots of crystals to get started with crystal healing meditation? No. How many do you need? Just one. And you probably already own that and have that in your jewelry box. You need a large crystal? No, not necessarily, because this is vibrational healing, because each part of the vibrational essence is held even in the tiniest molecule and minuscule particle of a crystal. You can certainly get into that and work with that. Crystals are expensive, not necessarily and not always. You can definitely find, because you don't need that much to get started, maybe 4 or 5. Like I said, just one is enough at the beginning. You can certainly invest $1 or $2 or maybe $10 to get a nice, decent 7 crystal set to get you started. So it's all that I have for you for today. I'm always open to your questions and suggestions. I'm coming back for 2 more beautiful myths, things to demystify tomorrow. And in the meantime, please go to adropofom.com and take the Crystal Healing Personality Quiz. I know it's going to be so much fun for you, and I will give you at the end of the quiz some strategies on how to deepen, how to go even further in your crystal healing experience. And if you found this insightful and useful and good for you, please share it with others. I'm always so happy to see you. Wave at me or leave a comment or say hi. And I hope to connect with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern here. Bye.